Bonjour again, small model collectors. So we have another Siemens branded model here of the 2006 Rally Japan car of the Citroen Xsara. And this was a really popular race car back in its day. And in particular, Sebastian Loeb was the driver in 2006. He won the Drivers' Championship that year, but the manufacturer's title went to Ford with their Focus RS. So I bought this online, and naturally there's no original packaging. What I like is there's 3 antennas here, so hopefully there's some spares. Although I think, well, first we have to see how many holes are in the roof of this thing. Okay. I'm gonna put these in so we can find out if these antennae are friction fits or if you're gonna need some glue. Sometimes I find it's 50-50 really. Sometimes glue, sometimes just friction fit. So it looks like we need 2 from what I can see in the roof. Some electronic clippers. Some tweezers. Whoop, that one's luckily didn't fly off into the floor. I like to hold the antenna just like that so I can push down on, you know, the wide part. Alright, this one is a friction fit. Yep. Pretty tight friction fit as well. There's no way that antenna is going to fall out. Let's see about this one. That one was much looser. I don't think it'll fall out, but it was extremely, much looser. Not extremely. Okay, anyway, so there's a spare antennae, so I'm glad to know of that. Watch me drop this model during this review. And I'll probably have to replace that thing again. I'm pretty sure this is not good for the undercarriage of a car. I would hope that they put some big thick skid plates on the bottom of these things when they're racing. If you're unfamiliar, you know, rally cars of this era, they're running like 2-liter turbocharged 4s, making around 300 horsepower, all-wheel drives. And they're all basically, you know, economy cars that are heavily modified to be race cars. And I'm assuming a lot of those modifications would be stronger suspension systems and brakes as well. That's a crazy shot. Okay. Alright. Let's see what's going on here. Alright, so all the graphics so far, except, no, even this one, they're all tampo prints. Sometimes I'll see the names are actually decals, but this one's a tampo print. And then on the body, all paint, not decals. The wheels are nicely done. Siemens sometimes has really bad wheels. But these look good, although I don't know if there's air passing between those spokes, but there's definitely a lot of darkness back there. Yeah, there is air passing between. I can see a little gap there. Okay, so those are pretty realistic. And for some reason, the real car does have 2 holes there. Probably to unscrew this cover to get to the lug nuts or something. So, sorry. Alright. The casted inside mirror, there's no sort of reflectivity there, unfortunately. Rally Japan. Okay. There's a texture here, and then there's tampo printing on it, so that's pretty nice. There's a little bit of a recess here for these brake ducts, but no paint. But they're really small, so I can understand. The chin spoiler is black, and there's a tiny bit of text printed on it, so that's pretty nice. Same here, that license plate is probably actually, it is accurate to the real car, from what I've seen historically collecting these models. Raised in painted silver, the Citroen logo. Some raised bumps here with some hood pin latches. And there's a texture here for these outlets. Unfortunately, I kind of feel like some black paint would be helpful there. Unless maybe the screen is body colored. It's hard to tell in those photographs. Alright, some extremely minuscule but raised painted black wiper blades. like those wiper blades make almost no. They're so small that it just don't seem realistic at all. I don't know why they would choose to do that. Strange. The banner here is printed on as well, tampo print. I think this might be a camera, and then this is a little air vent. Alright, so on this side, looks pretty much the same. I'm noticing some jacking up points here. I think the riding stance looks okay. It's weird though, the rear is extremely low, and the front is not. So maybe I'd take that back. Hold on here, I'm gonna get a tray of comparison, just put this on. So why is the rear sagging so much and the front is not? We'll get to the bottom of that. Literally, look at the bottom. So it's press fit together, so maybe that press fitting isn't so good because you can kind of see the back here does look flush, but here it looks like the bottom is sticking out. So it's like the front end isn't pressed up enough. I don't think it is. Or it's just, no, this is pressed up nicely against the casting. I don't know, something's weird though. And then CM's is a strange company, or was a strange company. They take no credit at all for the product they made. It's strange. Nothing about the car or the brand or anything. But these tires are really nice. They look like they would be rally tires. Some silver paint on this little exhaust, downturned exhaust. And it's really weird that that thing would stick out that far. But I do see it poking out in that side photo. If I could get this camera to focus today. So I guess that's alright. Alright, the red taillights are really nice, thick plastic. Some raised Citroen badging there. Third brake light's got some paint there. And then Xsara is printed nicely, same with Citroen. And then the license plate looks fantastic again. We have a double-decker wing and pretty decent thickness for the plastic there. You can see some of the cross bracing here, the roll cage. Very thin tubes for this roll cage. And then again, tampo printing here on the back glass. So unfortunately, you know, this roll cage looks low. Reason being is this clear plastic is wrapping around to the other side. So that's underneath the casting. Then the roll cage has to be below that plastic. So they couldn't do much better. What is nice is the tubes are very thin. I've seen worse before. So let's get a flashlight because sometimes, very often they have like harnesses and stuff. And yes, there it is. So I think there's some red paint there. I don't think that's a decal. In the rear you can see a spare tire. So that's pretty nice as well. Totally gutted rear end, and that rear end is painted silver. Whereas the front end is black, so that's nice, two-tone effect. Never anything in the instrument gauges though. But historically these models are like $7 to $10 brand new. So I can totally understand. I think for $7 to $10 these are fantastic. I think they're better than most like green lights in Auto Worlds for sure, right? But those are cheaper, so now are they as good as a Mini GT? That's the question, because you can get Mini GTs for $11. I would say they're on par, if not better, because they have antennas, right? These don't have brakes either, so a lot of Mini GTs just have plain black interiors. This has a little more color on this one. So it's on par, if not a little bit better than today's Mini GTs. But I do love Mini GT, don't get me wrong. I like that brand a lot. But I do love CMs because they made all these rally cars. And from what I can see is there's no major paint rash. I'm trying to even see if there's any. Maybe there's some bubbling here, I don't know. If there is, it's extremely small. So I really lucked out on this one. It's I do have a few CMs that have paint rash, so just keep that in mind. Let's get this thing going up here. Let's get this going in front of that crazy photo. Alright, so have another Citroen Xsara from 2003. So an older version. Slightly, it's a different livery, but I think it's the same casting. Yeah, looking at the wiper blades, even the wheels are the same. The rear wing is the same. The exhaust pipe is the same. Yeah, interesting. A 3-year span, was it? 2006? Need to look at the base again, yep. So 3 years later, it's the exact same car. Interesting. That's really strange for racing. Usually there's changes every year, if not mid-season or several times in a season. Here's an old school one. I have to look on the bottom. It's called a BX4 from 1986. So this is another CM's branded one, and that's just like a ugly car, but I like it. It's got 8 plastic lights up front. It reminds you of an Audi Quattro, but even uglier. Alright. I think I can fit a 4th one on. I want to show the last one because the Ford that won that year, the Focus. Alright. So Sebastian Loeb won the Drivers' Championship. That Ford won the Constructors' Championship, according to Wikipedia. Alright. Let's get this guy spinning on its own here, on its own little coaster. In front of these 2 pictures again. These drivers are crazy. Alright, well, as usual, CM's came through on this one, even though it's an old model. The paint quality is pretty good. The details stand up to the test of time. I think this could be sold brand new today, and people would buy it. So, I know there's still a few other castings I have to get from this brand, but they're quite expensive, so these CMs don't come in every day. But I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to check this out, and so hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Alright, take care. Bonjour. No? Adios? Nope, that's Spanish. Au revoir? I think au revoir. Okay.